I walked straight to the headmistress office. It wasn't hard to locate the place from reception and direction of others who were going there too. I sat in the waiting room with the other parents, marveling at the environment of the school. It was perfect, maybe too perfect. It was overpricey and made for famous rich parents, from what I could see. I wasn't famous or extremely wealthy, but I do have some sense to my name. Juliet also promised that being a friend and regular donator of the school had earned her a seat. Miss Harlan Elaney. The attendant called. I raised my hand gracefully and stood up, the two boys holding each of my hand as we walked by the other parents. I heard them murmuring about the nature of my name, wondering why anyone would answer Elaney. I rolled my eyes as I entered the headmistress office. I'm sure these perfect people would have the perfect little name and whatnot. The headmistress looked up from her desk when we came in.
You must be Elaney,
she said.
Please sit.
We occupied the 3 seats there, the boy's head a little below the desk, but nothing a little straightening won't fix. Thank you for having me, I said.
Nonsense.
She waved my words away with a smile.
Call me Priscilla, please. Juliet called earlier and said you were in a sort of trouble.
Oh, I'm not in any sort of trouble.
With your sons. She said you were having trouble finding a good school for them.
Oh, that. I chuckled nervously and then cleared my throat. Yes, well, I didn't have many options, so Juliet recommended this place to me. Priscilla leaned forward, a serious look in her eyes.
I must say, Miss Elaney, you look like you're struggling with the boys and may not be able to see this through to the end.
It took me a long moment to understand that she was talking about my financial stability and the overwhelming, overpriced school fees. I resisted the urge to shame her for the way these parents are charged, but I held myself together. Instead, I pushed my file towards her. The only thing I'm struggling with is finding a suitable school for them and not having to worry about their safety. She smiled widely.
And I see that you have made some engineering contributions to a branch of the institutions here, so I dare say you are more than capable of handling this.
Why then did you insinuate that I cannot handle it?
We'll be giving you a huge discount, of course.
The headmistress continued.
With Juliet's unwavering support to this school and your contributions, I see no reason why we should not twig the steams a little bit.
Thank you, I said coldly. If that is all, then...
Certainly not,
she said. She said. The headmistress opened a drawer and fetched 2 long papers and handed it over to me. I turned it over in my hand. It was files for the new students.
Your sons shouldn't have joined midterm,
Priscilla said. It is because of Juliet's support to the school and my contributions to society and engineering. I'm aware. I finished. Thank you, Priscilla. I can assure you that the finances isn't my problem, and the boys can handle being in a school midterm. Priscilla smiled like she didn't believe me, but won't argue further because the money of the parent was more important than what she thought about the situation. She didn't even ask me one question about the boys or tell me how the school would be favorable to them. All she was about was my financial stability, as if I looked like someone who couldn't afford here. Well, if I don't start working as soon as possible, then I might as well lose the remaining funds I have left. Gregory had sent my resume letter and recommendation directly from the lab to the one in Fuller City. Matter of fact, I have an appointment to meet the R anytime soon now, but I had been stalling because of the boys. I took their files with me and searched for the class we were directed to. Kyle looked around with mild interest while Jackson was really boxed up.
Are we schooling here now?
He asked. I nodded. It's way beyond your years, but I need you to associate with kids your age, okay? I said.
Yes, yes,
Jackson said excitedly, pumping his fist. Kyle was looking at something in the distance. His attention was so fixated on it that I had to stop and look in the direction he was looking. It was some little girl with wild curls on her head. Sighing, I tugged him back into the lane. Listen, boys, I need you to be respectful of others, okay? Jackson grinned.
Yes, Mommy. We're always kind.
Kyle said. I sighed. We had already gotten to their class. A teacher met me in front with a pretty smile on her face. She stretched her hand for the files, and I handed it over to her. The kids in the classroom were bent over their desk, probably doing something productive.
We have new students midterm,
the teacher asked. I nodded tiredly. I've gone over this with the headmistress already. Do you need me to get her signature or something? Oh, don't worry about that. I'll take it in from here. I looked pointedly at the boys.
We have no other friends,
Kyle said.
You will from now on,
She smiled at me again as she ushered the boys inside. Just before they went in, Kyle leaned over to Jackson and murmured,
She's here.
I heard him. I looked around, wondering what he was talking about. There was no time to ask. The teacher had already started the introduction, and Jackson was waving me goodbye. I turned around and left. I should have asked the school to keep an eye on them. Jackson and Kyle were known to be mischievous,